your windows, lock your doors, keep your loved ones near. Time is running out. It's here for fear.
Hey, welcome to Ear for Fear. This is the podcast where we talk about scary movies or movies trying to be scary. Today is going to be our first episode without Donovan. Today is going to be joining us is going to be one of our regular guests, Mr. Sleepy D himself, Darren Lindsay. Welcome.
How's it going, man?
Hey, good.
Cool.
Hey, thanks for joining us. Today, you and I are going to be dissecting 2003's High Tension.
Yeah.
You had never seen this before.
Never saw it.
Okay.
Never even heard of it.
Okay, good. So good. This is going to be good because I haven't asked you what you felt about it and if you liked it or disliked it. But before we jump in, let's do a quick plot synopsis. French college students Marie and Alex head to Alex's parents' secluded farmhouse in hopes of avoiding distractions so they can study for their exams. While settling in, a man breaks into the home and brutally murders Alex's family, while Marie tries to hide herself from the killer. When the killer binds and kidnaps Alex, Marie follows him, attempting to save her friend. Cool, man. Well, hey, thanks again for coming on the show. Like we had said in the previous episode, Donovan is going to take a little bit of a break. He'll still do 2 episodes a month. But the other 2 episodes, we're going to have regular guests on. So this is our first episode doing that. And so again, thanks again for coming on.
Yeah.
So High Tension, man. Let's jump right into this thing. And I purposely, you had never heard of it.
Nope.
You had never seen it. And I didn't think you had. And I purposely picked this one out because, and let's just say it right off the bat. Let's give people the spoiler alerts because, we're going to dissect this thing and we're going to basically ruin it right off the bat.
Completely.
So if you haven't seen this movie and you want to see it, I guess you could stop the podcast.
I would say it's almost imperative that you stop the podcast if you want to watch this movie and you don't want to know what's happening, because I think this movie, among most of them, this one especially is prone to the whole spoiler.
Yes. Yes, it is. When I had seen this, this is 2003. I don't remember. I saw it probably around that time, maybe on DVD or something. I didn't see it in the theater because it's a French film. I don't remember even it came out in the theater.
Right.
I probably rented it. And I didn't know much about it. And I went into this thing and I didn't figure out the ending. And I always pride myself on figuring shit out. Dude, I was like, what's going on here?
Yeah, me too.
So it baked your noodle a little bit?
A little bit.
Yeah. I had seen this now a few times and I rewatched it again recently so we could talk about it. And because I know the ending, I was trying to look for things like that would give it away.
Right.
And there were little things at the beginning. You wouldn't have caught it because you had no idea.
You're right.
But watching it again, there were little things that Marie's character says that almost gives
like a foreshadowing. Almost. Yeah.
Yes. Like at the very beginning in the cornfield.
Right.
There were a couple things.
It's interesting because you know how I am when it comes to movies that are subtitled.
Yes.
It's not that I don't think there are great movies, that come out in other countries. Of course there are.
Yeah.
I just hate reading subtitles. It just, I think on which one was it? Gonjiam?
Gonjiam, yeah.
Yeah, you had mentioned you were having a bit of a,
It was hard.
time,
Yes.
reading the subtitles, but also
Following the movie.
following
Yep.
what's going on in the movie. And I
Dude,
find
yeah.
myself just sitting there like glued to the subtitles,
Yeah.
and then I miss
Mm-hmm.
all of the visual stuff that's happening, And so as a result, I tend to stay away from subtitled movies. So this is a movie I would never, not just because of subtitle.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
Warren. Nope.
So let me ask you. So you watched it in subtitles?
No.
Did you watch the dub version?
I watched the dub version.
So that's what I watched too.
Yeah.
I watched, and it's funny because the voices aren't great.
Yeah.
They're like, they weren't bad. They weren't bad. But like the boy
looks
like he's 5 and it's a voice of like a 12-year-old.
I know.
Right?
Well, now, was one of them supposed to be, one of the girls supposed to be American?
No, I don't think so.
Because I swear she sounded American.
Is it Alex's character? Is it Alex or is it Marie? Because Marie definitely has that French accent.
I think it must have been.
It must have been Alex.
Mm-hmm.
She did kind of sound like American, right?
A little bit.
So I don't know. I think that's just a mess up on the. I don't know. Maybe she is supposed to be American because I know she said her family moved to this farmhouse 6 months ago. So maybe she's new to, I mean, if it's in France or wherever it's being, because we know it's French, maybe they are American. Maybe that's I don't know.
No, I don't know.
I don't know either.
No, I think that they were supposed to both be French.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think they just sort of,
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of those old kung fu movies I grew up on where like the voices clearly do not go with these actors. It's funny. And I love those things. So, and with this movie, there's not a lot of dialogue like there is at the beginning. But then after that, it's just kind of, I guess I'm playing on the word tension, but it's a lot of tense stuff and the music's building and stuff. So we can kind of get past it after the first 15, 20 minutes, So,
right. Yeah. So I love the setting immediately. It's supposed to be taking place like somewhere in the south of France or something,
like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I just love that sort of Slipknot kind of Iowa cornfield kind of vibe.
Yeah.
It like right out of the gate, it gave me a Texas Chainsaw Massacre sort of Jeepers Creepers thing.
Yeah.
And then obviously when the truck shows up.
The truck. Now, this was prior to Jeepers Creepers.
It was.
So Jeepers Creepers, I don't know, did they watch High Tension and it's like, hey, let's get a vehicle that looks like that because it just looked beefier.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I had pulled down some tidbits about this movie. I think it was an interview that from the director and might have been the creative director.
Okay.
The screenwriter or something like that.
Yeah.
And then the director.
So we try to look his first name. I'm just going to call him Alex because I know I'm going to mess it up.
It's Alexander Aja.
Yeah. And he's done some really cool movies. He's done the Piranha 3D movie. He's done The Hills Have Eyes. He's done Crawl. He's done some pretty cool movies. He's actually, I dig his style, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I really do.
So this is what he's got to say about that truck. It's called a Citroen H. It's probably the most well-known French vehicle. They acknowledge the similarity to, I guess, Duel.
Oh yeah, I never saw Duel.
Okay, well apparently there's a similar truck in that.
Okay.
And also Jeepers Creepers, but they say it's uniquely French with the added benefit of the appearance at the front of a creepy facial feature of some kind.
Yeah.
So it was.
It was fitting. It was definitely fitting.
It was happy coincidence.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's interesting with the movie. Okay. So, because we're just going to dive right into it and ruin it for everyone. And again, stop it, go watch the movie and then come back because we're going to totally just, screw it up for you. But so we know Marie is, she's first of all nuts, but she's got a split personality.
Yeah.
We don't know this until the very end.
Right.
So off the bat, when the movie starts, she's having this dream and she's being chased through a forest. And when she wakes up, she says she's being chased by herself. And again,
Yeah.
It's, you know.
So now, which came first? The quick scene of the 2 feet. Remember, there was a scene at the very beginning where it looks like someone's like sitting, and you know they're
That was, yeah. So that when she's basically in the, we don't see it, but she's in the
asylum.
Crazy, I don't know
The
what you call
crazy
it.
house.
Yeah, crazy house
Right,
asylum. Yeah.
right.
And we hear her, you know, we hear a voice, but we don't know all of this yet.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that was first. And then we get this, her running through the forest. And again, we don't see who's chasing her. We just see her running.
Yeah.
And she's of course terrified. And then she runs out into the road, and then the car barely misses her. And then she wakes up.
Mm-hmm.
And then she makes some sort of like comment of how she's being chased by herself. So it's almost like we were saying, almost a foreshadowing.
Right.
You know, we don't think much of it because we have no idea.
Well, no.
Rewatching this, you're picking up these little nuances of this film. Mm-hmm. And there's even a scene in the when they're driving to her to Alex's parents' house. And it's dark, and it's in the cornfield, and Alex pretends like she sees someone, and they stop the car,
right?
And she kind of disappears for a little bit, and then all of a sudden, you know, Maria's like, she says this like, if this is a joke, I'm going to make you regret it. Again, little things, that,
right? Yeah. Yeah, you know, it's interesting. Really, really quick on that scene where, you know, she's running through the forest. I remember when I watched it, I remember thinking to myself, well, that's a little lame. I'm like, because now I pretty much totally know exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I know that at some point here, you know, she's going to get, you know, confronted with or dealing with some sort of serial killer or something.
Mm-hmm. Something, yeah.
She got to run through the forest. Obviously, she's running away from this person, you know. And, you know, she goes out onto the road and, you know, sees a car. I mean, I don't know what happens after that. Who knows? But I mean, like, so I sort of felt like, okay,
yeah,
shoot,
yeah.
Why'd they do that? You know, no, it turns out, no, it was nothing even like, you know, what it ends up being. So,
yeah.
So I thought that was good.
Yeah. It's interesting to me because when you get to the end of this, and that, you know, this whole time, Marie has been the killer. So you know, we are shown all these different scenes with this. He just looks like a maniac. No rhyme or reason to him killing. He just, I mean, again, we explain this beat up old truck, fitting for this guy. He just, I don't know what sort of worker he is. Maybe he's some sort of maintenance guy. He looks like he's wearing some sort of jumpsuit. He looks sloppy and dirty and gross. They're painting this picture of him. But as this, and so when you're watching this, you're going, okay, yes. I mean, I am picturing this crazy guy who just breaks into a home, who kills people for no reason.
Yep.
But then we find out it's Marie the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
So this is how she sees herself. She is fighting with this other
like
person,
this monster within,
right?
Yeah.
And so then you start to like think, well, what was real and what wasn't real? Because there's that scene in the truck where we see this guy, and it's not quite dark. I don't know if it's the sun is starting to set, but we got light, right?
Are we talking about this one scene?
Oh yes. And so it just looks like he's kind of out in the cornfield, and it looks like, I'm sorry, people, but looks like he's getting head.
Oh, he is.
And he is getting head. And we just assume, I don't know, man, maybe it's his girlfriend, maybe it's just a hitchhiker he picked up. And once he's done, we see him take the head and just drop it out the window because it's a decapitated head. I'm like, fuck, this guy is some crazy mother.
Getting head by a decapitated head.
Yeah. But as this thing rolls along towards the end, and then you start thinking back, well, what the hell? Was that even real? Are these just thoughts in Marie's head that she's fighting with? And at what point does she lose it, man? Because
so here's a question. The decapitated head, was it Marie's head?
No.
Or was it a different girl?
Just a different girl.
So it could have been.
Because Marie is, Marie's the girl with the short hair.
Right.
Alex would have been the girl with the long hair.
Oh, sorry.
Now, could
Sorry.
it have been Alex? I don't think it was Alex.
No, that's what I meant. Yeah.
I don't think it was Alex, but it was definitely a long-haired brunette.
So do you think it was like a fantasy that she
Could have been.
Well, so in that vein, when they go to the house, she's upstairs and she starts masturbating.
Yes.
And it was at that point that the guy shows up with the truck.
Yes.
So it's like this whole idea of she starts masturbating and then the monster shows up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because right before that, she went outside to smoke and she saw Alex up in the bathroom showering and she's watching her. I mean, she clearly has a thing for Alex. We know that. We know Alex is straight. And I don't know if Marie is. I don't know if she's bisexual, because I know they talk about guys, or is she just a lesbian and she just hasn't told Alex this,
right?
What I was thinking, rewatching this was what I don't know if you noticed this, but when Marie and Alex got to the parents' house, and I know it was late, she seemed very weird, very like uneasy, uncomfortable. And I chalked it up to, okay, so now I'm around Alex's family and Alex's attention is now going to be directed towards them and not on me. And I think Marie can't handle that. It's got to be them two all the time.
Right.
So I think it was that. I'm sure she was grateful to meet the family, but now it's like, okay, now they're kind of in between Alex and I.
Right.
And I think it was a combination of that and seeing her, I don't know, maybe showering. And then it something just switched in her, man, Yeah. And I don't know. I can't pinpoint what caused it. Like you were saying, the masturbation scene. I mean,
well, so now we don't know what occurred, obviously, before the camera started rolling. So this could be a pattern with this girl.
Well, the picture's on the visor. So she's making up all these things in her head. So this truck and this killer, which of course we know is Marie, has this visor of all these different girls. Is this the first time she's done this?
Mm-hmm.
Or has she done this before?
So now, is the truck real or is it in her head?
Dude, I almost think the truck is in her head. Mm-hmm. What is real and what's not real in this?
Well, so then did they actually get to that gas station or did they not?
That's the thing, man. I don't know. And if they did, how did they get there?
Right.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know, man. I mean, because we know that they're in a forest. So they got there somehow, and that's towards the end of the movie. But what is? I don't know.
Let's just make an assumption that the truck and the killer is all a manifestation of
Marie.
Of Marie.
So yeah. I mean, it's really kind of, I don't know, man. It's just, I started, rewatching this last night, started thinking about this. I'm like, I don't know what was real. Mm-hmm. I don't know if the truck is real. I don't know if she was, I know they were driving that. I think it was like a yellow Ford after the gas station. Was that real? I mean, we know Alex is tied up. We know that's real. We know Marie's tied her up, but I
feel like the gas station was a real scene. I don't think that
because
that
when
was,
the cops,
because I don't think that was made up in her head. I think that was a real.
So do you think that, okay, let's just throw this out. Do you think that maybe however they got to the gas station it could have been Alex's car that they drove to in? It could have been a parent's car. We know they got there. We just don't know really how.
Yeah. And I'm not sure that's important necessarily. I think that I'm leaning toward the idea that every time that truck is involved, that's just a manifestation of her,
Yeah.
It's sort of like another personality because she clearly has multiple personalities going on.
And I don't know how many she's got. We clearly know she's got the two. She's got herself and she's got this evil man, disgusting, whatever he is. He's just a killer. He comes into this. So before we know this, it's late at night. He shows up to the house and the father opens the door, and the father gets it immediately. Was that not fucking brutal, dude?
Yeah, it was.
The slowly pushing the father's head into the railings of the staircase.
Yeah.
And then shoving that, I don't know what that was.
It
some
was
sort
like
of hunch or something.
Yeah, some kind
and
of
just decapitate. Fucking dude, that was gnarly.
that was nasty.
That was gnarly, man.
Mhm.
And I'm like, okay. And at this point, we don't know any of this stuff, and I'm already like hooked because this is cool.
Yeah.
And we know Marie has witnessed this, and she's up in this, I don't know what this is some sort of loft or third story or whatever this is. And so she's freaking out. She's not sure what to do, you know, and I probably would react the same way, man, if something like that happens. You know, we know the mom wakes up and she sees this, and the reaction to her, there was no screaming. That almost should have given it away to us, because if a maniac breaks into your house in the middle of the night and you see your dead husband, you see decapitated, there's this, I'm screaming, I'm yelling,
Yeah.
but it wasn't. It was almost like she had known this person, and so going back and watching it, you know. But I mean, the mom fucking gets it good, dude. Oh my god damn, wasn't that jacked up?
That's
jacked up, man.
that was. Yeah, you know, I remember throughout this whole house sequence, I remember thinking to myself, well, and even beyond the house, even when they went to the gas station, I remember thinking to myself, damn, that girl is like really good at like evading this guy.
Right?
I'm like, she is like just stealth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm like, God, they, you know, like more people in horror movies need to be like that. They need to watch this movie and take a clue from it.
Yeah.
You know?
No shit, dude. I mean, she was doing everything. Making the bed. She was wiping down the sink so that, you know, that it doesn't look like anyone's been there.
Mm-hmm.
She hid in a certain part of underneath the bed just in case the mattress was flipped over, which it was. I mean, dude, she was hella good.
She was.
But it really played on the whole tense thing. Dude, when I saw this the first time, I was like, holy shit. Is he going to find her? What's going on?
Yeah.
Is she okay? You know, it was just, you know, and I love stuff like that because there's no dialogue going on. They're just doing it with music and just visuals. And it's just like, oh man, I love it. You know, I
at first was a little lukewarm to the title.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't know. Man. I think it was like, I got done watching it and I'm like, high tension. I mean, yeah, I guess. I mean, I understand what they're trying to do there. From what I understand, I don't remember what they were going to now because I didn't write it down in my notes, but they were going to call it something else. And they thought it was a bit campy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they...
because it's not a campy movie.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
But I don't remember what it was now, but
really?
Whatever it was kind of came across a little campy sounding. So they
went with this.
They went with high tension.
I like this. I like this title. It works for me. Of course, I'm used to the title, so I guess maybe that's why.
Right.
You know, you just get used to something over time.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. I mean, that whole, you know, I don't know how many minutes, 15 so minutes of the house scene and
maybe even more.
It went on for a bit.
It did.
Yeah, because we get Marie again is trying to avoid, you know, this maniac, and she's looking for a phone, and I think she gets down to the second floor and goes into the parents' bedroom and she can't find the damn cordless phone, man.
Yeah,
it's so funny looking back at stuff, and it was only 2003, but now we're so used to the
all
cell
like a brick
phones.
Phone.
Yeah, it's all big. Yeah, and for some reason it's almost hid, you know. But she hides in that closet. The mother crawls into the room, and this killer comes in and just slices her neck, dude. That was brutal.
And he was just nasty,
man. Yeah.
And now one thing I did write down from some notes that I went on, and you know, this is part of that the interview with the director.
Oh yeah.
So that killer is based off of a real French serial killer.
Really?
Yeah, and I'm gonna butcher the name. It's I think it's Emile.
Okay.
Emile Louis.
Really?
Yeah, apparently is
Louis or Louis or something. I don't know. I don't know what French.
Real French serial killer, and I guess he was very hulking ogre like.
Really? Did they talk about like the serial killer himself and
No.
what his MO was? Did he just
They
like
didn't.
no?
No. I can look it up.
Yeah, go ahead while we're talking.
Okay.
Hell
yeah, keep
man.
talking. I'll look it up.
Yeah. But the dude the mom just, while Marie is in the closet and she's got the closet doors, she's got them closed and then the killer comes in and just slices the mom's neck. The blood squirts over there. But in the meantime, he is just butchering her, man. He's cutting off her damn hands and stuff. It's just fucked up, dude.
It was really bad.
Fucked up, dude. It's just like what I felt unsettling. And I don't know if this was a word that you would use. Once Marie got out of that closet and saw the aftermath of the mom, dude, that fucked with me, man. And I've seen a lot of kills and because she almost seemed almost alive still.
Well, she was.
Right, barely, right?
Barely. She was barely rasping out something. She was saying.
I almost think it was like, why?
Yeah.
I almost think it was, and I don't know if it was why, because I didn't watch the subtitled version, but like, why are you doing this? So almost like giving it away, but damn, it was brutal. So yeah, did you find anything on him?
So he was a French bus driver. And he was the prime suspect in the disappearance of 7 young women. This was in Burgundy in France in the late 70s.
Oh.
In 2000, he confessed to the murders. Then obviously, of course, retracted the confession a month later.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. But apparently, though, a lot of handicapped young people.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, what a puss. Fucking asshole. Yeah, right. Man. So not only are you killing people, but you're
going after
fucking
handicapped people.
Yeah, that's fucking horrible, dude. It's horrible, period, but come on, man.
Yeah.
Really, I didn't know that. That's interesting though.
Yeah.
Well, it kind of makes a little sense because this manifestation of Marie's, and again, all of those girls on the visor, So he just, in this movie just kind of breaks in for no rhyme or reason and just starts, I don't know, brutally murdering the family.
Yeah.
And then, idea of just taking Alex.
Yeah. And then the little boy.
The fuck.
I know, right?
What the fuck, man?
Seriously.
And
they were going to show, the boy getting his brains blown out.
Oh, hell no.
And like the brains, kind of like launching toward the camera.
Oh, fuck
but
no.
they decided that was too much. And so that was a good call.
It is a good call and we've discussed this. Look, man, some things you can do. You don't kill. If you kill kids, we don't want to see it.
No.
You can imply it.
Animals too.
Yes. I don't want to see.
Although some movies do sort of.
Kill the fucking dog, man.
Yeah.
And that was kind of brutal. Yeah. And again, it's almost like, and I don't know if it's a written rule or an unwritten rule, but they know in these movies, you don't kill little kids.
No.
And if you do, if it warrants it somehow, which it shouldn't, but if it does, like in this movie, you don't show it. You it's there. We know it's happened.
Yeah.
But don't show it. And pets as well. Or, I don't want to see animals, man. That's
cool. There's a soft spot that people have in kids, disabled people.
Yes. Yeah.
And pets.
Yeah.
It's like if you're going to do it, you better do that off screen.
Which was a good call. I'm surprised they were going to do that. I wonder, I'm just wondering, was the studio said, yeah, hell no, that's not happening.
No, from what I read, no, it was just,
okay.
Because, when they're coming up with ideas, obviously they're brainstorming in a room. They probably got a bunch of ideas out on a table. They're sorting through them. It came to a number of these ideas and when they were noodling it around and, bouncing back and forth on whether or not to do it, I'm sure they just settled on, that's just going to end up being a bit much.
Yes. I wouldn't want to see that. I don't. As it was, we know the boy got killed by a shotgun out in the cornfield.
Right.
We know that. We saw the light. And then later on, we see the scene where it kind of pans up and we see him laying in the cornfield. So we know. And that's enough, man. It sucks, but it's enough. We knew the kid was going to get it.
Right.
Because Marie is crazy. So she is gonna destroy everything in her path between her and Alex, man.
Yeah.
Nothing's getting in their way.
Yeah.
So, but again, it's getting back to what's real and what's not, because she comes into Alex's room and Alex has headphones on, so she doesn't hear any of this.
I know.
And she has, and we see that the killer has this razor blade. Okay, well, it's really Marie, but what's real and what's not, because she's trying to get the chain off of her mouth.
Mm-hmm.
And then we hear the boy outside. So is what's going on here? Is it just Marie in her room Alex in her room and Marie's outside killing the boy? What is real? Because we see Marie in the room with her, knowing the boy is going to get killed. So what the hell is real and what's not real? So is Marie not there with Alex at the time? We know Alex is chained up. We know she's chained up, but can she move? We know she.
Let me see if I can remember that scene. Don't they show a close up of the
yes.
It's like a straight razor.
Yeah.
Don't they show a close up of that like on her face or something like that?
Yes.
But during that same scene, if I'm remembering, you can hear like the blasts of the shotgun out in the field.
Maybe you're right. I don't remember what sequence that happened, because I remember the boy running from his room, and I remember the killer slowly walking after him and him going out in the cornfield, and we hear a blast. I thought at that time is when we see Marie going into Alex's room trying to undo the chains.
Well, right. So
in a sense, it's like Marie's not even in the room at the time. She's outside,
correct,
killing the little brother.
Correct. So then what is that? Is that in the mind of
Marie?
Yeah. Or no, well, no, Alex, the one with the chained up.
Yeah. Alex is chained
so
up.
is
I don't know. That's what it's, and I didn't do a lot of research, and because part of me almost doesn't want to like ruin it, because then what if it's some dumb, and then I'm like, oh shit,
right?
Because I got all these things going on in my head, and it's I don't know. To me, it's more exciting, cooler to think about, some alternative than, okay, well, the director decided this, but
yeah.
So yeah, it's like I said, man, we don't, we know some of it's real, some of it isn't. Most of what's happening is all in Marie's head. And so, again, we don't know any of this until the end. And it's like, fuck, man, she is doing a hell of a job avoiding everything with this maniac.
She is.
Like everything. Like he thinks he hears something, and then, nothing. And she,
Well, one scene I thought for sure she was hosed. It was not long after he got there, arrived at the house.
Yeah.
He's upstairs and he the water, the faucet, he sort of feels to see if it's wet, like if it's been running, because she was just using
she was
it.
drinking like out of the faucet. Yeah.
And I thought for sure, I'm like, oh, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did too.
So then the rest of the movie from this point is going to be her running from this guy.
Yes.
And slowly, like every so often, having a confrontation, getting cut up a little bit, running away, kind of a la Halloween. You know? Yeah.
Like I almost feel like he knows that there's this other person, but he just is kind of playing along with it, because we get bits and pieces of scenes where he's fucking smart as hell.
Yes, that was.
The gas station where he's taking the bullets out of the gun.
Well, that was exactly it. That was another thing that started kind of percolating in my head. I'm like, this killer has to know that he's just messing with her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we know. Okay, so we know Alex is chained up in this truck. This maniac throws her in there, and we know Marie is now inside with her because the door is closed and they're driving off, and he ends up stopping at some gas station to get gas. And so Marie's able to pick the lock or get out, and so she makes a run. And gets inside, and of course we have a one of the worker there, and it's late at night. And, she's like, look, he can tell, something's not right, you know. And so, but the killer comes in and he knows this guy. I don't know what his name was. The worker was,
I think it was Jimmy.
Jimmy or Tim. Yeah, I think it was Jimmy. So he knows him. He lives in this town. He probably is a regular at this gas station.
Yeah.
But of course now Jimmy's acting a little, you know, he's acting off and strange because we know there's this girl that's hiding, you know, down one of the aisles, and he's not trying to give it away, but he is in a sense because he's not acting the same way he normally would.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we start to see slowly the killer kind of pick this up in a sense, like he can kind of sense this.
Yeah.
And then, so, you know, the killer wants a good bottle of, I don't know. Do you remember what it was?
No.
Was it whiskey or something? Something like that.
I think it was brandy.
Brandy?
Yeah.
So he wants a good bottle. And so Jimmy goes over to the, I don't know, this cabinet's locked up, whatever. And he grabs a bottle. He's like, no, Jimmy, I want the good stuff. So he goes and, you know, grabs it and turns
it stuff in this dump of a gas
this shitty ass gas
yeah.
station. Yeah. And all of a sudden he turns around and gets an axe to the chest.
Yeah.
So we're like, fuck, this killer is smart as shit. How did he catch on to that? You know? And so in the meantime, Marie is fucking, she's, dude, did this gas station not seem like really big? Like it had a fucking downstairs and it had split bathrooms.
Yeah.
It almost felt like some sort of bus depot or something. It did. Right?
Yeah.
But it looked like a little gas station.
So on that, the axe scene, so the director had said that they, so it was modeled on The Shining.
Oh, that's
it was. They watched the sequence multiple times to try to understand the shot.
Yeah.
And, so the actual moment of contact with the axe, I guess, took a few tries to get it right. And so they ended up using meat and sand because they couldn't quite get the impact correct or authentic looking.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's kind of funny when you look at his shirt.
Yeah.
After the fact, after you know about this, you look at his shirt, you can definitely see there's something under his shirt.
Oh, that's funny.
But yeah, it's basically this concoction of like meat and sand to get that stick.
It's a great kill.
Yeah.
So it's the scene where in The Shining where Jack, I forget the character's name, the guy that can shine. He comes. It's that scene where he comes in and Jack gets okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's kind of cool. It's a brutal kill though, because I mean,
well, then he steps on his back,
yeah,
which
it's like
basically
stuck in there. It's like stuck and moving around and shit. Yeah, and then it falls down and just kind of boom. Yeah,
right, because he steps on his back and pushes like
fucking A, dude. Yeah. But then it's like I felt like this gas station was enormous. I'm like, it's a friggin' gas station, dude. If it has a bathroom, it's like one of the little tiny ones that employees use. Not that, I mean, I don't know, maybe in France.
Well, and it looked like, so obviously there were, men's restroom, women's restroom, and each one seemed like a damn locker room in a high school or something. I mean,
it was huge.
Nice looking, but
dude, it was huge. It was like if I'm going to like, I don't know, I'm going to a movie theater or I'm going to a sporting event and I go into a bathroom, dude, that was that big.
Yeah.
It had a ton of stalls.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know, maybe in France, maybe that's a thing. I don't know.
I don't know.
I haven't been there, so I don't know. Maybe that's a thing. All the French people right now are shaking their head. Yeah, that's
yeah, right. Oh, these Americans.
These fucking.
You never can tell, man. Because another thing that the director had said was they couldn't find a house. They couldn't find an appropriate house in the south of France, so they actually went to Romania.
Oh.
So this house.
So the house is in Romania. Okay.
And it's not actually a house. It's it's like a mill.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So what they did was, and then there was still machinery in this mill.
Oh shit.
So they strategically placed furniture and stuff around to hide the machinery.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, it did a good job because it looks like a house. But apparently, houses in the south of France, because of the war and all that stuff, those are just communist
Oh,
Yeah, they're hard to come by. You can't really find them anymore.
Yeah.
So
No, they did a hell of a job because to me, it just seemed like a secluded farmhouse out in,
it did.
right? I mean,
Yeah.
in the cornfields.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. That's interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm curious about that because to me, it just reminded me of like a bus stop or something. So I don't know. Maybe they filmed like a part of the gas station scene and then they decided to film the other part at somewhere else. But it just seemed huge. And
It did.
And she just kept avoiding him. Like he would go down, and I don't remember what side he went on. I think he went on the women's side.
He did.
And he went through all the stalls and nothing. But then he decided, okay, well, I'm just gonna go take a leak. Because you got to take a leak,
Right.
After killing everybody, you
Right, sure.
got to piss.
Right.
And so, yeah. And then, but he doesn't go through any of the stalls. And she's like, and she seems like almost happy and excited. Of course,
I know.
she's not dead now, but she seems like, hey, I kind of beat you, man.
Uh-huh. I know.
This is the fucked up thing because again, when we get towards the end, it's like, fuck, dude. It's like this. We know that she is completely terrified of this man. But really, she's terrified of herself. She is fighting this thing. It's like this evil inside her, and she's scared of it, and she doesn't know how to handle it, man. And that's what's fucked up.
At this point in the movie, the audience doesn't know that yet.
No.
But it's after the fact that you look back and kind of analyze that stuff, those scenes, and you go, yeah, that's pretty good. I mean, this.
Yes.
At its surface, this is just a typical serial killer style, horror movie.
It is.
But there's a lot of psychological stuff going on behind the scenes on this.
Yeah. And rewatching this is probably my third or fourth time seeing this. I made it a point because I already knew the ending. I made it a point to look for things that maybe were said, little other things, just so I could kind of. Like there's a scene where, we know Marie doesn't get found and the killer and he's driving off with Alex in the back of his truck. Well, so Marie ends up taking the dead, gas station clerk's car. What was that? Like some yellow Ford? It was like a muscle car.
It was a muscle car.
Do you think that had any sort of message there? Muscle car? She's toying with the fact that she's got this split personality. Maybe? I don't know. It's just something I was thinking about watching it.
Yeah.
But she grabs the gun because again, he's a gas station clerk. And I don't know how many gas station clerks carry guns. They probably get robbed a lot, but she grabs the gun, throws it on the seat thinking, okay, it's,
I wonder if it was almost like a, some weird, sappy, young person's idea of, what's a hero's car. Because, that's what she's doing essentially because the truck drives off.
True.
Right.
Yeah,
and so she's going after her girl.
Yeah. That's a good way of looking at it.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah,
yeah, totally. But she finally catches up to him. And she's following him and she's trying to be all, like you said earlier, kind of stealth and, but then they go down. I don't know if you noticed this scene and I caught this last night. We know it's dark, but there's always seems to be a light on her, and of course that's a camera trick or a light trick because you got to be able to see the characters, the actor's face.
Right.
But we know she's turned the lights off in the car so she's not noticed. And they're driving down that, I don't know, that private road, like out in the middle of nowhere. And there's a scene where half of her face is shown and the other half isn't. And I thought maybe that was a play on a split.
I'd probably.
That's what I don't know.
I remember thinking, girl, you better turn those damn headlights off.
Right.
I'm like, you are entirely too close.
Not to mention it's a loud vehicle. It's a muscle car.
Yeah.
It's a muscle car.
I'm like,
so
what are you doing?
Yeah.
I'm like,
yeah. So, yeah, I mean, and she's thinking she's all fucking sly and stuff. And then she gets down this road, but she's tired. She starts dozing off and all of a sudden she don't see the truck anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
where did you go?
Yeah. Where did you go? And then he ends up behind her, and she's looking towards the gun. And then I thought the scene was kind of cool. He sticks his left hand out the window and it's got all the bullets in his hand. Like, bitch, I beat you.
Yeah.
And drops him,
Yeah.
So,
that scene made me pause for a minute But I don't know. It's little things like that you know, I try to let them go. Well, see, it turned out that that there is meaning behind it.
Yeah.
But at the time when I was watching it, I was like, well, how does he know?
Yeah.
Like, why? How in that moment does he know that she like reached for the gun so that he could then stick his hand out the window and show that he's got the bullets? I'm like, he wouldn't know that, you know? And so it's little things like that. When I watch movies, I sometimes go,
I know.
Okay, there's some artistic license here. You know,
and there has to be with these types of movies.
There does.
Like we say this a million times, suspend belief. And it's like, and sometimes it pisses me off, but I agree.
The realist in me kicks in
and I agree, man.
And starts to like analyze it and go like, well, that can't happen. Come on. What, you know, are you in the car? Do you know that she's getting ready to reach for the gun? So now here's your moment to, you know.
Well, not to mention in a dark road,
right?
You wouldn't be able to see the fucking bullets unless you had some bionic eyes or some shit.
So you just have to suspend belief. But
you do.
But there's a deeper meaning there.
Exactly.
And it's just.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, you know, look, at this point, we don't know any of this stuff. You know, we know now, but of course, at the time, we don't. We just think, fuck, this guy is brilliant, man.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, he's not only fucked up in the head, but he's got all the friggin' answers, man. I mean,
he does.
No matter what is thrown at him, he seems to be able to.
He's answer man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he runs her off the road. She crashes, and she's kind of fucked up. She's cut a bit, you know, and makes her way to, I don't even know what this.
So it was here where I went back to the beginning.
Okay.
In my mind,
to the
because
forest.
I'm like, oh, okay, so this is essentially how she got tore up looking.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So now she's okay. Now we're making our way back to the beginning of this film.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and so she makes her way into, I don't know what this is. I mean, because they're out in the middle of nowhere, but I thought I saw a trailer. Did you see a trailer in the back?
I didn't see a trailer, but it's a greenhouse.
Greenhouse?
So,
okay, see, that's what I thought it was.
Yeah.
Do we think this is, okay, we know it's not his home, but do you think that this is what she is imagining? Because I swore I saw a trailer. He obviously is going down this road for a reason, you know? So I don't know. Maybe this is what she has made up in her head. I don't know, man.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing with this movie is we never really know what's in her head and what's an actual real.
Yeah.
You know, is this some, you know, hideout she has?
I don't fucking know. Like, yeah, do you think maybe it's a hideout that she has because we know that she's two different people, man? Do you think this is something that she's built up in her head, and when she tries to hide it from people, you know, this is her almost like her safe place, you
right?
know,
So there's two schools of thought here. So if we go off of the idea that she's done this before, right?
Yeah.
You know, we don't know.
We don't.
Although, you know, in the truck, there's all those pictures of, you know, so, okay. So in the absence of empirical information, you know, you just have to make assumptions. So, so on one hand, we can make an assumption that she has done this before. Well, then it stands to reason that she's got a hideout.
Yeah.
And that's where she goes to take people.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
In which case that location's real.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
The other standpoint or mode of thought is that this is all in her head, in which case pretty much all of these locales, except for the
house or
the
something.
house.
The houses and the gas station.
The gas station.
Like two things that are real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then everything else is just up in her head. Like, what will be my idea of my safe place in the woods?
Yeah.
You know, although I don't know what a greenhouse, you know, how that plays in.
I don't know. I mean, we know she makes her way into the greenhouse trying to, you know, get away from him or hide from him.
What I thought was brilliant was the flashlight.
Yes. Right. Again, he's fucking smart as hell, man.
Because she's making her way. She sees the flashlight because apparently it looked like two greenhouses.
Yes, it did.
She was in one.
Almost like a couple, like an extension of one, like,
correct.
You know, yeah.
And now for those listening, these greenhouses are not pristine and nice looking. They're very dilapidated. And,
yes. Yeah. Very much.
But and you know, she sees like the flashlight kind of looks like it's he's looking for her with the flashlight.
I'm going to sneak up on him.
And so she's like, I'm gonna get it up on him, and
it's just hanging there.
It's just hanging there with a
I'm like, motherfucker, this guy is just smart as hell. He's nasty, greasy, and just gross. But he fucking, he's been total MacGyver, man. I was like, shit, I got to start giving it to him.
Yeah.
Like at every turn, it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But we know that she grabs some sort of steak out of the ground and has wrapped it in barbed wire.
Negan style.
Fuck, dude.
That was what I thought when she started wrapping that barbed wire around that steak.
Yeah.
So she's gonna go Negan on him.
But he gets the jump on her and starts what does he do? I know he wraps the plastic around.
He does.
Her.
He comes up behind her, puts plastic over her head, and scenes like that. Just everyone's got their thing. Like some people, when it like drowning is a thing.
Yes.
That gets me. Whenever someone is suffocating, I always find myself like,
yes,
like gasping for breath.
For me, it's drowning.
Is it?
I have a fear of water, man. And I don't know if it was Jaws that did it to me.
It probably was.
But
Steven Spielberg.
Fucking Spielberg. To this, I mean, I know the shark isn't real and I know it's mechanical and all these things, but every fucking time I watch that movie, I get freaked out. I don't like going on water. Hell, I don't even like going in a swimming pool underwater. I know it's completely stupid, but it's a mental thing with me and it's drowning with me. I was never like that when I was really young. So something happened. It had to have been like I had seen Jaws when I was younger, but never really paid attention to it, maybe fell asleep. Mm-hmm. Then as I got a little bit older, I watched the whole movie because it happened to me around like my teenager days. I love to swim. And then all of a sudden I still like swimming, but I don't like going underwater.
Right.
I just don't like it, dude. I don't like that feeling, man. And so it's drowning for me. And it's the plastic or just the idea of.
Yeah. And I guess it's like one and the same. I don't really associate it, I suppose, with the lack of oxygen. I don't associate with water. Although we are talking about one and the same. The act of drowning is the absence of oxygen. Yeah. So, I mean, it's similar stuff, but it's like every time somebody puts like a pillow over someone's, or plastic or whatever, I'm always like, I find myself kind of not breathing and then I'm all, okay, calm down, it's just kind of funny, but that was a pretty nasty scene.
Yeah. Yeah. And we know she survives it. And I think she's laying down, and of course he does the scene with the switch.
This was gross with his fingers.
Yeah, and the fingers and the razor blade, and I think she's got a piercing. And I was like, oh, is he gonna? Oh, what is he gonna do?
That was another thing that on that interview.
Yeah,
they were gonna have him sticking his fingers in her mouth as well as elsewhere.
No.
And that was another one that they said, no, that's probably too much. So there were like a number of things that they wanted to do, or at least were on the table for options.
Yeah, that's a good call. That is taking it to another level.
It is.
The mouth was gross.
That was gross enough.
That was fucking gross. Dude.
His fingers were, oh my God.
Just like dirty. Almost like if you can picture like a mechanic.
Yeah.
Who is
with like grease under his nails.
Like a mechanic who didn't wash his hands, ate fucking fried chicken, and
his nasty sausage fingers,
just fucking gross. Dude. I was like, oh my God. So that was a good call that they didn't go there. But she bashes his head with a rock, and he's just kind of stunned and fucking bleeding. And then she goes to town on him with that barbed wire.
Well, no, that was good though that they showed that, and I don't know, they seemed to like stay on the side of his head for a second there, because, which way could it go? Is this guy some kind of like supernatural thing, like on Halloween where it just doesn't matter? Is he, just some sort of, just some kind of evil thing that just can't be hurt or killed, So once you see
superhuman
blood,
almost kind of in a sense,
So once you see blood, and you see him clearly dazed, then it's like, okay, so this guy can definitely be.
Yeah. Yeah. And then she just beats the shit out of him with that barbed wire.
Oh yeah. She tears him up.
Like, I mean, we see the face later on, but it's covered in plastic. And I kind of felt like, I don't know, it's her way of fighting with this other side of her, because she sees herself as this maniac. But then, we see the other side of her where she's trying to do good and trying to, in a sense, rescue Alex. So there is a good side to her, but this other side is starting to win,
Well,
right?
it's twisted up.
I
mean, yes. I mean, on the one sense, what she's doing in her own mind is heroic and altruistic and all of those things. I'm right. I'm fighting with my demon,
Yeah.
But she's still fucked in the head, dude.
Up, dude. Oh my God. She's fucked
Because in
up.
the end, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
She's obsessed. And that obsession
oh my
is.
God. Yeah, dude. I mean, she is.
Because it's almost as though those two sides obviously fighting with each other, right? But then at the end, she, quote unquote, kills him, right?
Yes.
But it's almost as though that, that monster element of her took over at that point. Because, right? I mean, because if it were the other way, if it was like the good part of her fighting the bad part of her and the good part prevails, then the good part should move forward.
Yeah.
And, but that kind of isn't.
Do you think it's partly because she's so, as we get towards that end where she is, let's say she's killed this maniac, she goes into the truck. I don't know, man. It to me, it's like, I don't know what my point is. I almost felt like beforehand, there were obstacles in her way. There were people to take Alex's attention from her. And once all of them were out of the way now it's like, well, hey, Alex, it's me. It's Marie. It's the one that we go to school together.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely. She's clearly delusional. I think in her mind, she thought, get everyone out of the way. So it's just, she and I.
Yeah.
And now everything will be cool.
Yeah.
Like now I can
back.
Yeah. Everything's back to normal and everyone's out of the way and I can go ahead and take all these chains off and the gag off. And then we're just going to start making out, or I don't know what,
I don't know. I think she thought, oh, I saved you and you're going to be grateful.
Yeah.
And no, bitch.
And I think that's the reaction, when clearly she doesn't get that,
Yeah, because she's surprised. Like, I've gone through all of this to save you.
Yeah. Why are you resisting me? Why are you treating me like I'm some evil monster? Like,
and then we start to see the gas station scene because the cops show up to the gas station and they're watching the video and we see Marie taking the axe to the clerk.
And that was essentially when the movie sort of shifts and you
and we're
realize,
like, what the fuck, man? Because I didn't see it coming.
No,
dude.
I didn't either.
It did a hell of a job.
It really did.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then we start to see other things.
Because during that scene when she's, unchaining her, and then she gets that reaction and she's like, what the, I was still chalking that reaction up to shock.
Yeah.
Like she's just so shocked because her family is dead.
Yeah.
And now she doesn't trust anybody.
Yeah.
That was what I was chalking it up to.
That's a normal reaction.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't even imagine going through something like that.
I'd be like, don't touch me.
Yeah.
Like, get away from me. I don't care if like we were friends or what, you get the hell away from me. I don't want.
Yeah. But then we start seeing like kind of flashbacks. The father being killed by Marie and the mom all of these things are like, okay, something's fucking not right here,
Yeah.
And then we see, I think Alex has the knife and Marie is just trying to calm her down and look, everything's okay. I've killed him. And Alex is just fuck, dude. Mm-hmm. I mean, she's reacting like any other, I think, normal person would react if they have seen their friend kill her family.
Yep.
So she cuts her, stabs her, and starts making a run for it. And we know at this point, if there was any good at all in or normalcy, I guess, in Marie. Yeah, that's gone.
Oh,
she is fucking snapped
completely.
and snapped now, and it's because she starts chasing her with that. What the hell is that thing?
It's a giant, like, industrial circular saw.
Fuck, dude. That thing is gnarly.
It is gnarly.
But she starts running after her, and we see Marie, we see this maniac, Marie maniac. We start seeing this, and she's like, nah, fuck it, I'm killing you, man. I'm done with this.
Yep.
This isn't gonna work between you and I, obviously, because you can't get over the fact that I killed your family.
Totally.
I'm sorry, that's kind of fucked up to say, but so now we get that. What we saw at the beginning where we see Marie running into the road, it's Alex running into the road and almost getting hit by the car. And she jumps in the car, get us the fuck out of here. Of course, the car doesn't start because, why would it? It's
So that's an interesting thing. So in the beginning, it was Marie that was running and then almost gets, and now it was Alex. So was that just, what do you think that was? Was that in her head, or
I think maybe it was something that was in her head, but I don't.
Was she planning that out?
I don't know. I think she's so screwed up that maybe it was some sort of jumbled, I don't know, I'm not going to say memory, but a jumbled, I don't know, idea of how things could go.
Right. That's what I mean. Like, so, was that in her mind, like, sort of
man.
How she sort of thought things might play out?
Yeah. If things don't go the way I want them to go.
Right.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's the way I took it. I don't know if it's correct or not. I guess is however we interpret it.
And then, of course, the car doesn't start.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Dude, it's a thing. It's such a trope, right? It's a trope. It's like, okay, well, we know in every damn slasher movie, especially every Friday the 13th, the car never starts. There's always something wrong with it.
So they had said, she had glass in her foot.
Oh, fuck.
That was a tribute to The Hills Have Eyes, which I guess is another film.
Well, he also remade that.
He did the remix.
Alex Aja made. Yeah, it's an old. The Hills Have Eyes is an old. God, I want to say late 70s, early 80s with Michael Berryman. Yeah, it's an okay movie. It's cool. I mean, I know people really dig it. I did see the remake, and I thought it was okay. I only saw it like once, so I don't know if that scene. Was it a nod to the original or the remake? Did it say? Because Alex Aja, who directed this, also did the remake. So I'm wondering.
I think it was the original.
It was the original. Interesting. Yeah. I'd probably have to go back. I think I saw it once, like forever ago.
And that was in her Achilles heel, man.
Dude,
oh my God.
Dude, I couldn't watch it. I mean, I knew it was happening last night, and I started kind of like, okay, I already know what happens, so I'm not going to watch this part because that's fucking brutal, dude.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I mean, so Marie annihilates this guy in the car.
Oh, geez.
Some innocent bystander who just happened to be driving, who knows, maybe taking a nice little drive in the country. And
the listeners, you need to understand this circular saw is gigantic.
Fucking just butchers him, man. I mean, that's gnarly. Yeah,
through the
windshield, dude. I mean, blood everywhere. He's getting it everywhere, man. Into the chest. I mean, so yeah. And in the meantime, Marie's trying to get in the car, and we see Alex in the street, up the street a little bit. She's broken through the windshield, and fuck, dude, yeah, that glass. Oh my God,
I know.
Yeah, so Marie makes her way towards her and but she's still, look, we know she's crazy, but she's still in love with Alex.
Yeah. That's the way that usually is.
Yeah. I mean, so there's still like, there's still that glimpse, that glimmer of, okay, things can work out.
Well, and I think it's something that she eventually realizes, you know what, let me play along.
Yes. Yeah. Cause I mean, I don't know what she says. I love you.
Yeah.
I do love
basically.
you. Yeah. In the meantime, she's got, what is that? Like some sort of crowbar or something? Crowbar. Yeah. And she impels Marie with the crowbar, but it's through her what side is it's her right side, right?
It was like kind of
like
shoulder
right side area. So
definitely
nowhere near the heart on the
no. She definitely missed vital organs.
Yeah,
like, yeah.
But I mean, enough to to put her out of commission. And then we get the end scene where Maria's is in this asylum. I don't know what this is. Asylum. What is this?
Yeah,
man?
it's basically like a mental institution, some kind of like for criminal
fucking
crazy
house.
yeah.
And we see her. She's on like a gurney, and she's in a robe, and she's looks like she's been she's got stitches, and she looks like she hasn't slept in I don't know weeks, and we get the two-way mirror where Alex is looking in, and hey, she can't see me, right? And, but fucking Marie knows she's there and reaches out to her. Dude,
she like turns around with that crazy ass look on her face and like eerie, reaches out. I'm like,
that's eerie, man, because she's mumbling, I won't let anyone come between us. I won't let anyone come between us. And it's just, fuck, man.
Yeah.
It's pretty powerful, man. I mean, because when you start dissecting everything and putting everything together, knowing that it was all in her head the whole time, and this maniac isn't a maniac, it's just her, it's just a split personality, and it's just, dude, I really like this movie. It's a good
love story.
It's a good love story. Yeah, right. Fuck. So yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. That's why I suggested it, because I know you hadn't seen it, and I know it kind of plays on. It's just not a regular, like your typical slasher or something where there's really not a lot of thought to it. It's just like, okay, I knew, I was hoping you would like it, and it'd give you a little, give you a chance to kind of really kind of dive into the whole idea of a split, two different split personality.
Well, yeah, and I mean, horror movies mostly fail to do that anymore for me, where I don't see something coming. I mean, I don't know, it's just because it's not that there's not good horror movies out there. And it's not that there's not good ideas that are happening with horror movies these days. But, I mean, for the most part, horror movies, at least for me anymore, there's not a plot twist that comes out of left field so much as this one did. Because I truly did not see that coming.
Yeah.
I really thought that this was a crazy, wacky serial killer, ogre Hulk looking, French guy.
You were probably wondering, why the hell did Rick recommend this? Because it's almost like a French slasher or something.
No, in fact, quite the opposite. That was pretty much exactly why I figured you was like, no, it's like this is just like a French equivalent to Friday the 13th or something. I don't know, so for it to flip like that, I didn't see it coming. So for me, that was good.
It is.
That was worth it. What was it? Hour and a half long? Yeah.
Probably hour and a half. Yeah.
So for me, it was completely worth watching this movie.
Yeah. And like I've said before, and I said earlier in the episode, I, for the most part, can figure stuff out.
Mm-hmm.
It may take me 10 minutes, maybe take me an hour, but I can figure it out before the reveal the twist.
Yeah.
And nope, not in this one. So I have to give it to them. They did a damn good job of this. I don't know if other people out there, saw it and go, oh yeah, dude, what are you guys talking about? I saw it 30 minutes in. Well, good for you, because shit.
I didn't.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe you should look at yourself, because you might be a little nutty. If you got that shit 30 minutes. I don't know, go see a doctor. I don't
Seriously.
know. But no, it's just to me, it's a well-made movie. I always, when people ask me like, hey, I'm into horror, but what do you recommend? And I'm not going to go, well, Friday the 13th or Nightmare on Elm Street. Well, you probably have already seen that.
Yeah.
So I usually go, I do. This is my go-to, High Tension, because more than likely you haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Because honestly, how many people go out of their way to watch French horror? I don't know, unless you're in France. I don't know, unless you're French. I don't know.
Yeah. And if you are going to watch it, if you don't find the English dubbed version and you're watching subtitles, the good thing is there's not a huge amount of dialogue.
No.
Not enough to completely overwhelm and make you miss
No.
the actual visuals. Or,
Exactly. Because yeah, like we were saying earlier, man, there's a like that Ganjiam, man. Oh my God, it was so fast. Like I was trying to, not to mention that it was so dark, and I'm trying to read subtitles and then watch what's going on. And in a ghost movie, you want to be able to see everything because a lot of times they slide little things in there on you.
Oh yeah.
So it's like, fuck, man, I don't want to watch.
It's like as though if Insidious were in subtitles.
Yeah, or a Conjuring or something. It's like,
right?
yeah, I'm like,
you
no.
would miss so much having to read all that stuff.
No, I mean, look, I mean, I respect the whole, I do. I mean, and there are a lot of good foreign films, especially in horror. They do a lot of good stuff, man. Like Ganjiam, you know, it was a pretty good movie. I enjoyed it. I know Dawn and I have talked about A Tale of Two Sisters. I mean, we've done One Cut of the Dead. I am not in any way putting down any of these movies. It's just hard for me. My eyes are horrible, man. You know this.
Oh yeah.
I got damn bottle cap glasses here that, as you always joke, that they're made in NASA.
Yeah.
And I don't see well, and I just want to listen and watch the movie. And so, yeah.
Yeah, no, it doesn't have anything to do with the country that a movie is, or the language that it's in. It has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do. It's immersion. Yeah. It's some people, and I suppose if you get used to it, if you watch subtitled movies enough, you can quickly read and then go right back to, so maybe over time, I suppose with enough practice, probably do it. But I don't enough. And so for me, it's this constant shifting of my attention, and it just pulls me out of the immersion of the experience.
Yeah, no, I agree.
So because of that, I just, whatever.
I know Donovan is he's used to it. And I forgot Goodnight Mommy we did too was also. So I mean, I'm starting, I guess, get used to it. Doesn't mean it's my preference. I mean, any day I just wanted to sit down and have English and then follow what's going on and not have to worry about reading something, or did I miss a word or a sentence, and is that going to come into play later? I'm like, shit. Yeah. So yeah. But anything else to want to touch on that we missed? I mean, I think we hit most of it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I would highly recommend this movie. It's hard for, like I was saying, it's hard, horror movies to be original when there have been so many great horror movies. It almost feels at times that, things have pretty much been done. I believe it was either you or Donovan on your last episode had mentioned, and it's true, with any art, there are no new ideas. Yeah. There is just now plays on ideas. Yeah. And so this idea of being presented with one thing and then having it flip at the end is not necessarily a new idea per se, but the way because it's all about the execution. Yeah. You can have any great idea or any play of an idea poorly executed as just poor. It's just bad. Yes. So it's really the way you execute it, and you got to give them credit. They did a really good job executing that twist. They did. Because a twist like that, really, in order to be effective, rides on delivering it right at that perfect time. Yeah. And if you screw up once and it ruins the whole film if you don't do it right, man. And they did it right here. Because this film would be ruined if there was even one clue in. Yeah. 20, 30, 40 minutes in, this movie would be done. You may as well just stop it. Yep. Because beyond that, one could argue that it doesn't necessarily deliver other things that are just unique and awesome. Not really. No. I mean, the acting it's decent. Okay. It's not bad. Kills are cool. The kills are cool, but nothing I haven't seen. No, the circular saw is pretty gnarly, but the location, been there.
Yeah.
Jeepers Creepers, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, a lot of that, that kind of Iowa sort of feel, cornfields,
correct,
kind of thing. So none of those are necessarily unique, right? The cinematography is good.
Yeah.
It's but it's nothing that we haven't seen already.
No,
so really this movie rides on that twist at the end. And this movie, you may as well shut it off if 20, 30, 40 minutes in, they had given it away by slipping up and not keeping the script nice and tight. And, and so you got to give it to them. They did a tremendous job with it, at least for me, because I did not see that coming.
No. And like I said, no, me neither. And I usually pride myself on figuring that stuff out. Did not hear at all. And so, and that's why it just works, man. It's just done. It's done really well. And like I said, I have to give it to them. Doing, especially in these days, man. I mean, come on, man. How many original ideas or, movies that come out these days, especially in horror, that we haven't seen before. And I will kind of give a nod to the directors, or I don't know, the whole crew, if they have something to do with, the movie itself in that sense. If it was an idea that they had come up with, if it wasn't, say, a writers or directors or screenplay, whoever it was, they come up with something new, man. I'm quick to give a nod, because we've seen it so many times. And so it's nice. And that's, again, why it's a movie that most people don't know about unless you're really ingrained in horror.
Right.
So if I get someone that really likes horror, but maybe they're still kind of new to it, go check out High Tension. Don't read anything about it.
Yep.
But go check it out. Then come talk to me, and let me know what you think, because we can have a really cool conversation like you and I just did. So,
for sure.
But all right, man, I think that's going to do it. Thanks again for coming on and chatting with me on this one.
You bet. I get to edit this thing now.
Yeah, now you can go edit this and pull some music. Make some music for it, as we've said before in previous episodes. Darren does all the music and edits the episodes, because let's be real, I don't have patience and I don't know the stupid program, but
you don't want to see him behind this computer.
Yeah, no, you don't. You don't. I just hear like eye candy and just talking to the microphone.
Eye candy.
Right. So anyways, well, thanks again, Darren, and
thanks for having me.
Thanks for everyone listening, and come back next week, and everyone take care. Thanks again for listening. Make sure you tell everyone about our Ear for Fear podcast. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Ear for Fear. You can also check out our website, earforfear.com. There you can keep up to date on news, events, and episodes. You can find us wherever you listen to podcasts. We hope you come back and get an earful.